Good morning, boys and girls. We're here at the Willamette Heritage Center, which is an old woolen mill. And today I'm going to be reading you a story about how we used to make rugs on a loom. And this is called the Weaver's Surprise. So, down a long, windy road in a low-lying meadow, an old man was weaving on a loom. And one day, while the old man was weaving in his cottage, a family of mice scurried through the meadow. And they were looking for a winter home. And suddenly they stopped because they heard these strange sounds. Swish, bump, bump. Swish, bump, bump. What's that? Cried one of the small mice. It's coming from the cottage, said another. Maybe someone's making dinner. Well, let's go and see. And so here they are in the meadow, and they're going into the house. Oops. Father Mouse found a hole in the cottage wall. Just as the last mouse squeezed through, they heard swish, bump, bump, swish, bump, bump. And Mother Mouse tried to cover her ears, in fact, of all of her babies. The loom was such a racket that the mice couldn't hear themselves squeak. The mice pressed themselves into a corner behind the loom where several rolled up rugs like this, like a rug right here. And they stepped on, the weaver then stepped on the treadle. Come on. And the mice looked around, and there were piles and piles of small strips of rags dotting the room, and spools of different colored threads in the shelves. And the weaver had those tools that spun around, and some clicking, some whirling, and rolled up rugs were everywhere. I think he's making rugs, says one of the mice. While Father and the little mice were staring, Mother Mice was looking for the food. She returned with food, nuts and crackers, and some cheese, a feast. Oh, can we stay here all winter? asked a tiny mouse, her mouth stuffed with cheese. It's really awfully loud in here. With the weaver working, said the father, it might be hard to sleep during that swish, bump, bump. But that night, tired from a long day in the meadow and with full bellies, the mice curled up in one of the rolled up weaver's rug and fell asleep. In the days that followed, the mice hopped from rug to rug, searching for just the right one for their winter home. And finally, Mother chose a particularly pretty rug close to the food cupboard and tucked in a far corner, almost out of sight, right here. It was woven so tightly that it wasn't as soft as some of the other rugs. Father Mice said, I can fix this. And so he chewed on the threads, and he chewed until he made a really large hole. And then it was hidden in the middle of the rug. And He lined the hole with colorful fluff that he had used when he chewed the thread. "We could sleep here all winter," the mice said. So one day, a man and his wife came to the weaver's cottage to choose a perfect rug. And the wife wanted one that had her favorite colors. It had to have green and blue and purple. And there it was. It was sitting right in the corner. And that was the one she wanted. So the weaver pulled the rug to the center of the room, but when he opened it, out popped all the mice. And the wife shrieked, and the husband jumped on a chair, and then they both ran out of the cottage. I think the mice were just as scared as the people who wanted to buy the rug. And you see how they left the rug. Ugh. So the weaver stared at the open rug. There was a huge hole in it, and it was really one of his favorites. And now it was ruined, and it scared away the clients that he was going to sell it to. All that work for nothing. The weaver pushed the rug into the corner. And that night, the mice crept back to their rug, and the father said, "We have to help the weaver, but I don't know what to do." And the family sat quietly thinking. And suddenly the littlest mouse squeaked, "I know, we can weave another rug for him. I've been watching him work, and I think we can do it." The next morning, the weaver decided to go to town. Maybe I can find those customers and convince them to come back and get another rug, one without mice and holes. And as soon as he was out of sight, the mice went to work, and they measured and they warped the loom. That means they put all the thread on the lengthwise. The smallest loom helped with the reed and threading the heddles. And father and mother turned the beam, and they have to turn it click, click, so it's really tight. And then they had to fill a bobbin, and a bobbin is the kind of piece of equipment that they throw across to carry the thread across. And that's what the swish is from. And they got that all put together. And the very strongest mouse, in fact, 2 of them had to push the shuttle through on the swish. Oops, I think I missed a page here. Okay, so swish, thump, thump, floated across the meadow. Swish, bump, bump, swish, bump, bump, all day. Together, the family wove a brand new rug. In town, the weaver found his man and the wife, and he begged them to please come back and look at another rug. And the wife said she really wanted a green and a blue and a purple. But they decided they would go back and they would look. And her husband thought he looked foolish jumping to a chair because all the mice came out. And he said, "I'm not afraid of mice." So when the weaver and the couple stepped through the cottage floor, they gasped, because there on the floor was a fully woven rug in the right colors. "It's perfect," the wife said. "And no mice," said the husband. And the weaver was speechless. I think there's one more. Yeah. "Come out," the weaver called. "Don't be afraid. I want to meet and thank my friends who helped me so much and wove such a beautiful rug. Let's eat and sing and dance tonight, and tomorrow we'll weave a rug together." The end. I hope you enjoyed this.